Hey, welcome back, Nope Nation. That's that damn morning show. Yep, it is Monday morning. We got Anthony in here. He's with the D150 Nation. If you guys don't know what that is, that's some damn Dodge trucks. What's up, Anthony?
Not much.
How's it going, man?
It's going. Glad to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about the D150 Nation. What are you guys about?
All right. In a nutshell, I've been a Mopar guy all my life, and I love the Dodge trucks. And I've went to several shows over the years, and all I ever see is the C10s and the OBSs, these big clubs. And I'm not knocking them. I just want more love for the Dodge trucks.
Yeah, because the Dodge guys, man, they really don't get any love. I mean, when you're at a show and you see a Dodge, and it doesn't matter if it's like a Power Wagon or, well, as long as they ain't a PT Cruiser, you know what I'm saying? Right. So I mean, we're talking trucks here, guys. Okay.
Right.
So the thing is, it's like when you're at a truck show and you come across like an 84, 85 slammed Dodge, you stop. You just got to, admire it, because it's not an S10 and it's not a full-size Chevy truck, or, somebody took the time and the research to modify this thing to be what it is. And there's a huge cult following for this,
Yes. They're like the black sheep. They really are.
Oh, yeah.
Now, with your modifications, you guys, as I look through your page, you're taking parts from other Dodge vehicles to get the drops that you need and everything, because there's really not that much out there aftermarket, correct?
There's technically no kit. You have to basically make a kit yourself, and it's pretty simple. There's enough information out there now, enough guys doing it. On my page, people want to ask a bunch of questions, so I made a little sticky on the top of my D150 Nation page of different ways you can go about to get your different lowering. Like if you want to do a full slam, there's actually a section in that post I made of how to do that. If you want a mild lower with, you use some, you can actually use S10 Blazer Extreme Blazer coil springs. It gives you 1 inch. You can use Chevy rear leaf spring hangers to get you 4 inches in the back if you don't want to go like I did on my trucks.
Well, let me ask you this: what if I don't want to slam my truck? What if I want to raise it? I mean, does Skyjacker and Rough Country, they offer kits for these trucks, or?
Well, I'm sure they do. I'm not a four-wheel drive guy,
mm-hmm.
So on that end, there's guys that have that stuff and they know that. It's mainly these body lifts that I've seen, so that's pretty well simple, whatever they use for that. But lowering it, that's where I'm at on my trucks.
Yeah, because, I mean, they might not make a kit specifically for that. Because I know with Green that owns Rough Country, he's told me if there's not a big high demand, we're not going to make a kit.
Right.
So, I mean, it's cuts or us. Either if you're going down or going up. I mean, you got to figure it out. And, with the Dodge...
Any of these company head executives that's listening this morning, take notes, because the Dodge trucks are coming up and they need parts.
Yeah, and I've always liked the Dodge trucks. I mean, especially the mini trucks, back in the day.
Okay.
And, I mean, the way that I see it, I mean, the full size, I always thought it was cool to see a full size, like 80s Dodge short bed, but you just don't see a lot of them, but they are out there.
Yeah, people think they look at them as farm trucks, and they're not anything to look at. They always see the long bed trucks, in the W series, which a W for that it means a four-wheel drive. So you'll have a D100 and a W100. W stands for four-wheel drive. D stands for two-wheel drive.
Okay.
So what questions you got, Derek?
Well, okay, I've got a couple here that stands out. So when someone mentions first generation Dodge, is that 1980 to 93, or is that 1960 to 93?
It's a vague synopsis on that. When we talk about first gen, most of the time people think first gen Cummins. But okay. First gen actually falls into the 1972 to the 1993 body style. That was
Okay.
the first time they named it the Dodge Ram. Before that, it was Dodge. They called them pilot houses, I guess, because of the way the cabs were set up. But the actual first gens were 72 to 1993.
Yeah, because before then it was the Power Wagons, right?
Well, it was like I think we called it M34s. It was like a military grade power wagon.
Okay.
It was like it looked like a 30s or 40 style body of the truck.
Yeah.
And they had the swept lines from 61 to 71, which is another one of my favorite body styles, the way they look, because of the little check mark at the end. The bed looks like it's sweeping because of that body line.
I see.
And
Well,
can you tell us, can you tell me the difference between the D100, the D150, and the D200?
And the D250 and 300 and 350, yeah. The D100, they kept, in 72 to 80, they kept the numbers equal. D100, 200, 300. So
is that like a half ton, a 3/4, and a 1 ton?
Yes. When you got into the later generation of the first gen, the 350s meant it was a dually.
Okay.
So the D100 was the bare bones, nothing fancy about the truck. It used it for work. It was like my D100 I have now is a slant 6, 4-speed, no factory radio option. I mean, it's nothing in it. Manual windows, manual locks, manual steering. I mean, so when you get up into the 200, that's when you get into like the LE, which is a limited edition. It comes with, floor seats and
yeah, it starts getting a little fancy.
Yeah, get a little more fancier. You get the 300s that get you, power windows and all that stuff, but it also gets you the 3/4 ton or the 1 ton suspension. So it's all about the, options depending on what, and that depends on what your number would be for your truck.
And there's quite a bit of models of the Dodge truck, because there's the Prospector. They had the plow trucks. I mean,
yeah,
you're getting that Spirit of 76 truck, which is just freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's a D100 custom Spirit of 76. They made, from what I can gather, I've heard around for certain people, they made about 200 of these trucks from the factory.
Wow.
Yeah, that's low numbers.
Yeah, and of course, they didn't keep the numbers like they did for the cars back in the day, but they have a rough guesstimation, and most of them were long beds. This was a short bed, come factory with a slant 6 and a 4-speed, and it had been changed out to a 318. They only come in 3 colors, red, white, and blue, and the interior come in red and blue only. So, again, you can choose if you wanted, vinyl or vinyl and cloth together, but you didn't have very many options for the truck because it was a promotion, so to speak, for the bicentennial.
Yeah, because it wasn't a dealer deal. It was directly from the factory.
And if you didn't know you could order that, they didn't. That's why the numbers were so low.
I see.
I do have a
It
question.
wasn't like all spread out there on the market, on the billboards and stuff, Spirit of 76.
Yeah, so what's the question you got, Michelle?
Okay, since you like Dodge, have you owned any other vehicle in your entire life besides a Dodge?
What? I owned a Ford Ranger for gas mileage back in high school. That was the only reason. I saved my gas money through the week to take my Roadrunner out and cruise with Shaylin back in the day.
Yeah, it's before.
We used to do all kinds of dumb shit in that Roadrunner.
He had a Ford Ranger before he got Dodge corrupt.
Okay, I didn't
No,
know.
I was Dodge corrupt. My dad just swore I was a mailman's kid because I had Mopars everywhere. I just wasn't old enough to drive them yet.
Yeah, I think we all been there. We've all been there. So out of all the Dodges, that are out there, right?
Yeah.
What is your fantasy Dodge you would love to have?
Okay. There's lots of them, but the one that most would stick out in my mind, man, it's hard. I mean, because I'd like to own a bunch of them. But it's still going to be the 1969 Dodge Charger General Lee. That I understand everybody has them. It's just something that, stuck in my mind as a kid watching that show every Friday night.
Oh, it's super cool. I mean, I think it's...
Yeah, and Anthony's got a really exquisite collection of die-cast Dukes of Hazzard memorabilia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that people's got these General Lee cars now and they have to remove the flag off the roof. I think that's totally bullshit.
Yes, it is.
You know?
It's I don't know, man. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. I mean, it's just they want to make trouble for people.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like, you know, it's just anything else. It's something that's iconic. And, I mean, hell, even Dukes of Hazzard had its own problems. I mean, it got canceled. You know, President...
Bo and Luke was fighting for royalties, and they brought in the other cousins. You know, Roscoe left for a while because of different things. It was not right. I mean, it was a good, wholesome American family show.
Yeah, and it's crazy because the CEO of the production company, the wife didn't like Daisy Duke, so they replaced it with Hee Haw or something like that.
Yeah,
and then
they had to make her wear leggings. If you look, she has leggings or pantyhose on because they didn't want her skin showing.
Yeah,
it's censorship.
Yeah, it's all this censor stuff. It just makes no sense. And then we get past all that, right? And they come back and they do several seasons, and then now it's a cult classic. And then 20, 30 years later, whatever it is, then people's got a bitch. Oh, it's got a Confederate flag on the roof and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And it's like, or you got the other side of the people throwing a bitch fit of how many Dodge Chargers they fucking destroyed.
Right. And back then, they were a dime a dozen, so they didn't care. And truthfully, if you guys don't know this, the original car was not going to be a Dodge Charger. It was going to be a Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, I have heard that story before from somebody.
Yep, I've read it somewhere, but I can't remember where I've seen that.
And it was, I think the reason why it was changed, and the reason why it was changed is because they couldn't get the Camaro.
Yeah.
Because these motion picture companies and film companies, they put in a request of this, and this, and this, and this. A lot of people don't know the Knight Rider car almost wasn't going to be a Trans Am.
Really?
It was actually a fiberglass dune buggy looking thing, but then GM stepped up and they were able to do it. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. The Knight Rider historians actually did a story about it. And they've got the computer from the marketing company. I mean, them guys have really did their shit, you know. But it's just interesting when you get into these different shows and stuff, and the marketability of what they put on the air for the fans, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
So what else you got going on? You're doing a deal right now where you're getting this new truck with a Hemi in it. What's the plans for this year when car show season starts?
Well, it's going to take some time for it because a buddy of mine's actually is doing it for me. He is going to take the 318 out and put a modern Hemi and revamp it for me to make it the ultimate daily driving hot rod truck. So I'm just enjoying my other D100 I drive daily back and forth to work. So, but of course, everything's going to be my approval. His name's Ryan Everson out of North Carolina, and he works at a hot rod shop, and he has trying to get his own shop started and get the name out. And I mean, he does excellent work, and he's very smart, and it's crazy on what the stuff he knows. If I run into something, I actually call him, like, dude, okay, what do I do? You know, he's like, blah, 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 and he does, and I do it, and it works. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I think everybody, as much as they won't admit it, they've got people that they reach out to and like, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, I'm trying to figure this shit out. Hell, I had to call Derek I drive Michelle's truck. I didn't know if it was in 4-wheel drive or in 2-wheel drive. I couldn't, the way the damn thing was locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, any Dodge issue I run into, I call Anthony. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Anything else that I have to help you with, I call Shayla.
Yeah. So I mean, people have a friend. I mean, that's the reason why I don't feel stupid. I always felt there's no such thing as a dumb question. You know what I'm saying?
No, if you don't know, it's not a dumb or stupid question.
Yeah, exactly. What other questions you got for him, Derek?
Well, I was looking at some pictures of your red truck, the regular cab short wheelbase truck, and man, slick. It's setting real nice.
Yeah.
It's a good looking truck. And then I was going to ask you, I have some pictures of it, but you've got a 4-door daily driver.
Yep.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it was. I was after that truck for like 3 years, and it got sold right before I got the money gathered up to buy it. And it's an '85. It's the last year for the crew cab, so it's actually a D300. It is not a dually. It's got 70,000 original miles. Got a 360 small block in it. It's actually on a 1-ton frame, so I had a upper control arm brake on it, and it was such a pain because it's actually a lighter duty front suspension being 2-wheel drive, and so I had to get a 1/2-ton suspension upper control arm with the ball joint to make it work with mine, even though as I found out it's actually a light duty front end compared to it's actually a 1-ton, but with a light duty front end suspension.
Yeah, it's amazing how when it's going down the assembly line, they make the calls like, yeah, we're going to do this, and all of a sudden, they change it up. And there's like 400 or 500 vehicles ran. And the parts are different. I mean, I know you're a Dodge guy, but when they built that, Ford did that Super Cruiser, it's like the ultimate tow truck. And when I mean tow truck, I'm talking about pulling a trailer, okay?
Yeah.
And they only did 86 of those trucks. And the front brakes on it, and this is weird, but there's people that, if you've owned one, then you know. The front brakes are Dodge on a Ford truck. It's so freaking crazy, but this was a limited edition.
I've heard about that truck.
Yep. Yeah, Ralph Randall had one.
Yep.
And, because we had to convert everything over from hydraulic over to air and put the air compressors and stuff in it the whole braking system, everything was crazy on that. But they just didn't make a lot of extra parts because they weren't sure if they were going to go in mass production of it. But then GM noticed that truck and they end up doing a Kodiak. And then Ford was like, whoa, I got to do something here,
Yeah.
As far as the Dodge truck goes, like what you build and work on, the OEM replacement stuff, I mean, is it pretty readily available, or, I mean, are you guys still having to hunt for stuff?
Oh, well, I mean, it's crazy because I have to go to O'Reilly's, look at O'Reilly's for something. AutoZone might not have it. Rock Auto. It just depends. So then you have to figure out if you can see the Bristol part number on it. Then you're trying to cross-reference it. I mean, because it might have been used on a Chrysler New Yorker, and so, but they might have that part. Like O'Reilly's can't tell you that it fits. So, as just like the lower control arms to lower these trucks. The factory lower control arms are kind of pretty well flat. So the spring set's on top. So when you go to lower one of these trucks, you buy the B series van lower control arms, which has a pocket. Which all you do is change the lower control arm. You don't do anything else. You leave the stock shock alone, stock spring. You just literally change the lower control arm to the van. You've dropped that front end 3 inches.
Wow.
Oh, okay, that's a big drop.
Yes. And then, this is where I tried it, was I got a 2000 Extreme Blazer with a 2.2 liter front control, coil spring. I put it in it, and it lowered it another inch. So I'm at 4 inches in the front.
Nice.
Same diameter, fit like a glove. Then, as a foot kit, all you do is you buy your new spring perches, you cut the old ones off, you get everything set up with your drive shaft and your angle for your transmission, and you tack them on, get it set. You've lowered that rear end 6 inches.
Yeah.
Done.
Damn, so I mean, it's not bad to drop one.
No. The van, you can go, anywhere local parts stores have the control arms. So you're looking about maybe $100, $110 a piece. And then you can buy you can buy any kind of spring perch, but Mopar perches for 53-inch axle. It will when you order them, being Mopar. You put that on, $20. You're looking at, $250 to lower this truck, and it's crazy because it scares people. They don't make them. You just got to do some research, and once you find out, man, it's just like, wow, I could have been doing this stuff years and years ago.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: with the shocks, you use like the Beltec shocks for like the GM trucks?
Nope. You can use stock issued shocks. You go buy them for an 85 D100, and it doesn't bottom out. It rides great, and I'm not
really?
lying. In a lower truck, it's going to ride like shit. No, it rides better than stock, I swear.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, because like on the GMs and the Fords, you got to buy lower end shocks for everything, and
Nope.
so I guess there's enough travel with the Dodge, so that's cool.
Yep. If you have, and actually, something cool about the Dodge trucks. If you look at them on the rear frame above the rear end, it already is mini C-notch. It already has a hump built into it. So you can also, if you load something in the back of your truck and your shocks are kind of soft, you can run the 66 to 72 style B-body Mopar shocks, and you won't bottom out. They're a little stiffer, but it still rides great.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Well, I'm tell you what, we got to move on here and go to these commercial breaks. Tell everybody where they can find you at online.
D150 Nation on Facebook. It's a great place. I've already got 5,000 plus members.
Yeah, you guys have a website up yet?
We've got one bought. We haven't got it started yet.
Okay.
We're trying to work this out, with both of us, both me and the other guy has full-time jobs and with kids, trying to get it worked out where we can have a nice all-in-one page if you don't do the Facebook thing. So.
Yeah, you guys got an Instagram and.
No, it is our personal pages. I really don't get on Instagram much. I mean, Facebook, I'm always getting messages on Facebook about the page.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend most of my time there answering questions and helping people out on how to do things. I love it. It's blown up. I'm so happy. I'm trying to get a show, kind of a D150 only type show. It doesn't matter because it says 150 doesn't mean you can't have four-wheel drives or Ram Chargers. I want Dodge trucks there. I don't care if it's a 1915. I don't bring it. 1915 to 2025. I don't care. Bring them.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to check back with you in, next couple weeks. And when do you plan on doing the show?
I've got to get it worked out where, I thought about going to Carlisle, PA in July and trying to put the word out some more. But there is a show called the Southern Illinois Truck Showdown in Marion, Illinois.
Yeah, we know those guys.
Yeah, Level 7 and all them guys. I'm trying to get some guys locally in my area to come to support us because there was only 5 trucks there last year, and that was 4 more than it was the year before that. And just kind of have, hang out and meet some guys with these Dodge trucks. But it's August 31st is when the show is. It's going to be at the old Miners Stadium, which is now called Mountain Dew Park. But yeah, I'm trying to, if I can get to see what kind of showing happens there, I'm going to try to get try to figure out where I can have a kind of centrally located show to have these guys meet up, and get to know each other and get the word out about the D150s. And, don't have to always be about Chevys.
Yeah, and if you guys are listening right now, man, you guys are Dodge people, check out the D150 Nation on Facebook. Send them a friend request or, hit them up. But we got to go to these commercial breaks. Anthony, it was great having you on the show. We'll definitely have to have you back on here. Hey, coming up, and then we've got all kinds of stuff. We're going to be talking about the Puppy Bowl, to the Super Bowl, the Taylor Swift bullshit, right back here on Nope Nation. This is That Damn Morning Show.